Welcome to the Ping Tour trailer. My name is Daniel Udd. I'm the Ping Master Tour Technician. Today we're going to be building some golf clubs for Rob, and just going to walk through the steps with you. Today we're going to be building a 5, 7, and 9 iron and the new i15 irons. And we've selected the AWT regular steel shaft, which is a proprietary Ping shaft. To start the process, just as any Ping player would come into the trailer, we'd be prepping the shafts. For instance, we'd grind the shaft tip to make sure that when the head is going into the hosel of the club, it is going to bond properly. With all Ping shafts, these are already pre-prepped. So what we're going to do to start today, we're going to get our, we use a special glue. It's called what we call gray glue for irons that don't require a hosel, or ferrule is what we call it, such as the S57 model would require something like that. But the new i15s, that is not needed. I'm going to take 2 parts gray epoxy, which is the 10C, 1 part of the Loctite Epic glue. Mix those 2 together. And once we mix those 2 together, there's got about a 35-minute waiting period for those 2 glues to be bonded properly together and dry the irons. Generally speaking, we'd like you to wait about 24-hour period to hit that, but we do have the capability with our heater, which we pointed out earlier, to be able to dry them, and they could be hitting those irons within about an hour to be comfortable. So what I'm going to do that's nice and mixed up here, take one of these heads real quick. Roll this epoxy onto the applicator. Roll it inside the hosel of the club, both parts. And then simply take the shaft and roll it inside the epoxy and apply them together. Now for the tour players, one of the added custom touches is they don't like the shaft bands, for instance, to be showing, or any kind of graphics on the shaft. So we'll actually turn that graphics down so that there's no visual sight from the player's standpoint. Just take a cleaning cloth here, simply wipe off the excess epoxy, and we will apply some pressure to that to set the shaft in the hosel. That is now clean and ready for drying. Set that down on the ground. And generally speaking, that would take about, like I said, about 35 minutes to get a nice cure going on. So we just dried the irons on the heater just to speed up the process. Like I mentioned, we normally get out there in probably 25 minutes once you use the heaters. I'm going to come over to the cutting table. Set up the clubs here. We'll start with the 5 iron. We use the top measuring portion of this tray here. Line up the club as we did before. And with the 5 iron, it's going to be 37 3/4. So we're going to measure right at 37 3/4, just like we did with the woods. And again, proceeding down to the 7 iron. 36 3/4, and to the 9 iron. Proceeding one more time at 35 3/4. So those 3 are all prepped and ready to cut, and we'll start with the 9 iron. Of those will be cut to the appropriate lengths, and we'll bring them over to the gripping. So we just cut the irons. We're going to bring them back over to our table here for gripping, and I'm going to start with the 5 iron. down, off, and we're all set. Bring that grip around, and again, just lining up the toe of that club with the sight line pointing straight up for us. Make sure it's lined up correctly, and away we go.